Hello, I'm Jeremy, and welcome to Chapter 4 of Introduction to Public Health. We're going to talk about how government is involved in public health. Basically, they say all politics is local, but is public health local? And obviously you have local health departments, but where does it all start? So we'll take several steps back. We'll talk about federalism and where does the federal government fit in. Now, health is not found in the Constitution, so any right to health or any guarantees around health just didn't exist. However, it was written in the 1700s, well before germ theory or vaccines or anything like that. So health wasn't really a part of what government did when the Constitution was written. So basically, it's been, since it's not in the Constitution, a lot of it has fallen to the states and local agencies to take care of. So there are four forms of law. You have constitutionally based law, which again, things promised or guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution. Legislatively based law, which are laws that our state legislatures pass. Administrative law, which we'll talk about more in here in just a second. And judicially based law, which are court decisions that have put things into place. And of course, the purpose of public health law is to protect people and to keep people safe, while still ensuring the rights of individuals, and that can be difficult. So administrative law it's when a law is passed by the legislature, administrative law kind of fills it out. Administrative rules and things like that, and those are put together by experts who help define things and clarify parts of the law. Now, as far as the government public health, three basic levels. You have your federal government, again, things like the Department of Health and Human Services, which hosts a lot of the public health and health-based agencies. You have the state, which usually the state health department, but in addition to the state health department, you have other departments that do like inspections. And you have the Department of Aging. So public health, most of it happens in the health department, but not all of it. And then most, of course, local public health happens at the county level at local health departments, though there are two city health departments in the state of Iowa. So we're talking about the federal. Now this is looking at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In the middle of that chart, and this is in your book, the ones with an asterisk in the middle are part of the Public Health Service. And taking a deeper dive into those, the NIH, or the National Institutes of Health, which is the research arm, by far the biggest funding, $30 billion a year. For comparison, the state budget for the state of Iowa is about $7 billion. So it's 4 times what the entire state of Iowa government has. Now, a lot of that money is given out in research grants to universities and other agencies. You can see the CDC has about $6.7 billion a year. And again, while it seems smaller compared to some of these other agencies, it's still about as large as the budget for the entire state of Iowa. So these are generally very well-funded agencies. Now, again, at the state, we have the Iowa Department of Public Health based in Des Moines. And then, again, state by state, it's a little different, but in Iowa, most of the services are concentrated there. And again, they're a freestanding unit, and the director is actually appointed by the governor. The local health departments, as the book says, where the rubber meets the road, that's where people get shots and where inspectors are based out of to do restaurant and tanning bed and pool inspections. And they're providing services locally. So, and now, again, they're mostly funded by the state, but they could get direct federal grants. They can collect fees for services. So they have more than one funding source. A lot of it does come from county taxpayers, comes from fees, comes from grants, can come from the feds. Again, all over the place. And then ours in Iowa, you see decentralized and centralized. Iowa has decentralized. So they are run by the county. They're not an extension of the state health department. They are funded, and there's a local board of health at Blackhawk County that oversees a lot of the decisions and helps hire the local director. So looking at health departments nationally, most health departments, 61%, are small, but of course they serve the least number of people because they're small counties. And then you can see that as the bigger, more people are served by large health departments, even though they're a small part. In Iowa, we don't have any counties of more than 500,000 people, so all of ours are either small or medium. The Polk County is getting close to crossing that line. So again, the relationship between the federal and the state, prior to, again, about 100 years ago, very little. They didn't do much. But in the last 100 years, again, more vaccines, more more treatment of illnesses, more tracking of infectious disease, where the federal government starts taking a bigger role. And then you can see again the percentage as the total budget is about 1.5% of the total budget goes to public health. So here's some more charts. Okay, so again, looking forward. Expectations rising. People now depend on public health and expect public health to be there for outbreaks. The federal role is diminished in the fact that they're more of a granting and pass-through for money, technical assistance, but they're not doing a lot of the work themselves. We've had several big investments in public health. The tobacco settlement, which was paid out by the tobacco companies for years of deception. In fact, organizations like thetruth.org and others are funded directly from that settlement. And then BT prepares bioterrorism. Back in the early 2000s, you had bird flu, and then there was risk of anthrax. So a lot of money went into public health to kind of protect the public for these things that never really materialized, but again, it was a large cash infusion. That's since kind of worn out, but it helped expand public health. So looking at homework for the chapter, you have quizzes over chapters 3 and 4. I don't think they're longer than about 7-8 questions. The journal article on Zika, what's going on with Zika right now, and assignments over chapter 3 and 4. One's about infant mortality, and the other is about Ryan White Part B, and you'll read more online. Let me know if you have any questions.